Alexander the Great, genius or madman? Alexander the Great is one of the most debated figures in history, a military genius who never lost a battle, yet a ruler whose relentless ambition knew no bounds. He envisioned the unification of East and West, the creation of an empire unlike any other, yet he left behind chaos and bloodshed. Was he a brilliant strategist or a reckless conqueror consumed by his own dreams? To understand him, we must follow his path, from a young Macedonian prince to the ruler of half the known world. From an early age, Alexander was immersed in war, politics, and ambition. His father, Philip II of Macedon, transformed Macedonia into a formidable military power, laying the foundation for his son's conquests. Even as a child, Alexander displayed an unbreakable will and insatiable curiosity. He was tutored by Aristotle, who taught him philosophy, science, and rhetoric. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. This helps the YouTube algorithm promote our videos. Thank you so much, and now we continue our story. Yet, it was not knowledge of the mind that shaped him, but the art of war. He admired the heroes of Homer's Iliad, longing to surpass them. When Philip was assassinated, Alexander seized power without hesitation, eliminating rivals and securing his throne. At just 20 years old, he was ready to make history. His first challenge was to suppress the Greek city-states that had revolted upon Philip's death. He crushed Thebes with ruthless efficiency, sending a clear message: Macedonia was unshaken, and its new king was as formidable as his father. But Greece was only the beginning. Alexander's true ambition lay beyond: the vast and powerful Persian Empire, ruled by Darius III. In 334 BC, Alexander crossed the Hellespont, beginning a campaign that would change the world. Though his army was significantly smaller than Persia's, it was highly disciplined, well-trained, and led by a commander who thought faster and fought harder than any opponent. His first major victory came at the Battle of the Granicus, followed by a relentless march through Asia Minor. He laid siege to Tyre, conquered Egypt, and was declared a god by the Egyptian priests of Amun. There, he founded Alexandria, a city that would become one of the greatest cultural centers of the ancient world. But his most decisive moment came in 331 BC, at the Battle of Gaugamela, where he annihilated the Persian army and claimed the throne of Persia. Darius III fled, but was later assassinated by his own men. Alexander entered Babylon not as a conqueror, but as a king. Persia, the empire that had ruled for centuries, had fallen. Yet Alexander's hunger for conquest remained unsatisfied. He pushed eastward into Central Asia, storming through modern-day Afghanistan and into India. But the deeper he ventured, the more resistance he faced, not just from enemies, but from his own men. In 326 BC, he fought the legendary Battle of the Hydaspes against King Porus, who commanded a force that included war elephants, a terrifying sight for Macedonian troops. Though victorious, Alexander's army suffered immense casualties. For the first time, his men refused to march further. Exhausted, homesick, and weary of endless wars, they forced their king to turn back. The return journey was disastrous. Alexander led his army through the Gedrosian desert, where thousands perished from heat and starvation. By the time they reached Babylon, the mighty army that had conquered half the world was barely recognizable. The relentless campaign had taken its toll, and Alexander himself began to change. He adopted Persian customs, demanded divine honors, and grew increasingly paranoid. He executed his closest friend, Clitus the Black, in a drunken rage, an act that shocked even his most loyal followers. Many began to question whether their king had lost his mind. Then, in 323 BC, at the height of his power, Alexander fell mysteriously ill in Babylon. After days of suffering, he died at the age of 32. Some believe it was malaria or typhoid. Others suspect he was poisoned. He left no clear heir, and within a few years, his empire collapsed into civil war. His once loyal generals divided the territories among themselves, plunging the world into chaos. But despite the destruction that followed, Alexander's impact was undeniable. He spread Greek culture across Asia, founding cities that flourished for centuries. His vision of a unified world influenced rulers for generations. Even Rome, the empire that would later surpass his own, looked to Alexander as the ultimate model of leadership. So who was he? A genius who saw beyond his time, or a madman driven by a thirst for power? He never knew when to stop. He was not simply a conqueror, he was searching for meaning in his victories, striving to become more than mortal. He saw himself as a god, yet in the end, he was just a man. His empire was short-lived, but his legend has endured for over 2,000 years. Alexander the Great, a man who sought to conquer the world, and nearly succeeded.